Hey everyone, welcome back to Urban Pro Wrestling. It's great to be back, and ladies and gentlemen, I'm with the newest addition to the UPW roster, Tone Felix. How are you, man?
I'm good. How about yourself?
Doing all right, can't complain. I said I have to go straight into this. That's exactly what we're gonna do. I always ask this question first, just because I feel like it's one that needs to be universally asked, no matter what. Out of all professions, why professional wrestling?
That's actually a simple answer. After high school and going through college, I realized I honestly hated every other job there was. Um, Went through counseling. They try to get me through jobs. They try to see what jobs I might like or potentially want to shadow. There was a few I could see myself doing if I wasn't doing wrestling, like doing a pilot stuff or doing a veterinarian. That's about the top two options I really had. The rest, I just wasn't interested in. I even did shadowing to be a nurse. Like, being a nurse this was not for me. I could not sit down at a desk. If I had to sit down at a desk every day, my life would be completely boring. That's why I chose pro wrestling. Started watching when I was a kid and never lost interest.
So to kind of piggyback off that, so what kind of exposure to pro wrestling? What was your first like real experience?
Honestly, I found wrestling by accident. I was just channel surfing, saw a match, Undertaker versus Jeff Hardy. Didn't know who they were. Just saw a guy who was tall, it was like a scary man, and saw a guy jumping off the top rope a lot. And those two caught my eye. And after that, just kept watching.
Do you remember the year? Was it like '02 during like the ladder match? Was like '09 about?
It was definitely '09 because Jeff had a rivalry with Guerrero, and I think Jeff actually won that match.
Hey, there we go. So as you're watching, who kind of became your favorites over time?
Forever be my favorite, no matter what anyone says. Is my personal favorite will always be Taker. I like the way he worked in the ring. Everything he did was calculated. Everything he just said, where he worked in the ring, was just to me perfect.
That is fair. So what kind of made you like when did you finally make that decision? Like I'm going to be a pro wrestler.
So it was the summer of 2020, COVID year, obviously. I was actually applying to actually go to a college out of this country in London. And then they actually wanted more money than what I was told I was going to have to owe. And then I realized I didn't want to do that. Decided, if I always wanted to do something, money wasn't a factor, what would it be? So I was like, you know what? I like wrestling. Let me see if I can find any wrestling places, try it out for a day. If I didn't like it after a day, I would leave. Did it one day, said I can stick with this, and it's never stopped since then.
Hold on. That's a crazy time to get started.
Honestly, for me, it was the best time. I think when this might sound kind of negative, but when there's something bad happening, that's always the best time to do something because everyone's distracted on the negative. I like to focus on the positives. That's just me.
That's honestly a very good mindset too, actually. um, so to follow up, when you're going through training, did it just kind of like click for you, or did it kind of take you a little longer to kind of get it?
The athletic side of wrestling clicked with me because I come from a football background. I've always been athletic, did football, track, weightlifting in high school and track. So that was always something that kept easily with me. Just learning the ring psychology took a little longer with me and still growing and learning to this day. But I can honestly say the athletic side was very there for me.
So and what position did you play in football?
I was running back.
All right, cool. What I want to kind of follow up with too, when did you kind of start kind of like realizing, hey, this is actually I'm actually kind of getting somewhat like good at this.
The saying is when you're good, other people tell you. So other people kept telling me. And honestly, when friends and family told me, I brushed it off because that's friends and family. They're always going to support you no matter what. It's more so when people I didn't know or people I know were higher up in wrestling. It's been coaching and training for years to tell me and book me on their shows. That's when I kind of taken it more seriously, honestly.
All right. So to follow that too, um, what do you feel is the match you've learned the most from to this point in your career?
How about match I've been in or a match watching?
That you've been in.
Dang, I think all my matches. Honestly, I can't put on one match. I can also put on an opponent if that's better. I wrestle a guy named Brian Atomic the most out of anyone, and his ring psychology and the way he works in the rings very well. And ever since I started wrestling him, he's really helped me elevate my skill and the way I think in the ring. This is really everything.
Wow. All right. So I always like to ask this because you guys have like a million different names for moves nowadays. um, what is the name of your finisher?
So I currently have two. One is a 540 kick, and I'm a big anime guy, so I named it after one of my favorite anime characters, Sasuke, and it's called Shidori. A lot of my anime fans like the name of that, so I get a lot of my weebs into it. And another one I do is make like a fireman carry slam, and I call that move repress to calculate basically all the pain and stuff I went through life. I repressed it, and I give it back to my opponent.
So I gotta ask, like, was it easy to kind of like find that balance between like anime and pro wrestling and like making it work?
Actually, pretty was. It's for me. It was just hand to hand because when I wasn't doing something, staying active, and it was time to relax, I was pretty much watching all the classic anime shows or just any classic show. I'm a big classic TV show guy, especially any animation or cartoons. That's just how I am. I admit to that any day.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's like I wish I knew who Sasuke was. I'm not like an anime person, so I'm so lost.
It's all
um,
good. Anyone who knows me knows I love anime and I love Power Rangers, and I don't care how old I am. I'll say that till I die.
See, them I know. Them I know. Like, I'm definitely old enough to know them. um, so to kind of forward to, you're at about year two technically in wrestling, right?
Yes.
Um, what are some of the goals that you kind of have for the remainder of the year?
Honestly, just to get my ring psychology up, because I feel me learning the physical side has come naturally with repetition. That's something I never really had a problem with learning. Staying flexible, all that stuff, it's fine. It's more so learning the big things, how to look at the crowd, how to make the crowd hate you, love you, just to work your opponent, just to slow things down, just a slight bit, and that little bit of difference makes the match completely go from three-star match to a five-star match.
Damn, you actually just answered my next question too. So with that, um, I want to know like who kind of influenced your moveset?
My move set, wow. It's actually a funny answer. I play a lot of W2K video games, and that was kind of the move set, honestly, with it. And then if I had to say people who are currently wrestling or past, I can honestly say Big E was one of my current move set guys. Kofi, I actually met him and talked to him a little bit about wrestling. I like his style of wrestling. I try to keep my style to more technical, with just a little bit of high flying stuff in there because I don't like to overdo it. Plus, I keep my body safe, to be honest with y'all. So it's much easier to do a little bit. That way, gets the crowd into it when you do a little bit of stuff that's what I like to call pop or flair, and the rest is more technical base. So you stay a good wrestler.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like, not many people I feel like kind of downplay technical wrestling feels like one of the most important aspects to it. Um, and so like I can think of guys like Eddie Guerrero for a great example, phenomenal luchadors, but just even better technical wrestlers, like their sequences just always made sense. It was an insane
It really
story
did.
that they told in the ring. Um,
I
to
also watched William Regal and Dean Malenko stuff too.
see that's interesting because like and I want to ask about William Regal too. Like I have always wondered, like, and maybe it's just me, a guy like William Regal, who I feel is one of the better technical wrestlers in the world, really. Um, would you agree with that potentially?
I personally would because I think people didn't, as a people, I mean more fans, so not actual wrestlers, would probably wouldn't notice his ability because I guess either they're looking for more flair or more gimmick stuff. He was just pure technique, and the way he wrestled and style always, to me at least, made sense. Even if I didn't understand it at first, if I watched it 3 or 4 times, I go, okay, I see why he did that move or waited on his opponent or took his time. To me, it just he understood the puzzle piece really well.
And then to follow that up, what are your goals for your wrestling career?
My wrestling career, I'm honestly just trying to get good until I get picked up somewhere. And I'm not honestly picky where I get signed at. If I could one day be fortunate to get signed to a major company. On the side, I'm also be doing acting. So those are two careers I'm looking at very well because obviously you can't wrestle forever. So you got to always have a backup plan to do things. And I'm enjoying both pretty well. And then for some reason that unfortunately doesn't happen, I still have a backup career stuff, but I'm not going to say that this yet. I just want to keep focused on my wrestling acting right now.
As you should. And to follow up, do you prefer being a heel or face, and why?
Oof. I ain't gonna lie, I think heel's more fun. Everyone says that, but ever since I was a kid, I've always been naturally just pretty much mean to people. And I don't consider being mean. I'm just very direct and blunt. And people hate that naturally, either because they can't handle the truth or they just don't like direct honesty. So being a heel is just so much easier for me. If you saw me when I was doing my face stuff, the skills and wrestling was there, but the character itself was not there for me. Being a heel, I can say what I need to say, talking to the crowd how I'm more superior than them. They don't like to hear how you're better than them. No one does, even if it's the truth. And then it's just more fun. You can interact with them. They hate you. I love to be hated. Honestly, it's just something I've naturally been good at since I was probably 8 years old.
All right. That is a lot right there. I loved every second of that. So my next one. Wow. How do you follow that up? Hmm. What are your goals in UPW?
UPW, pretty much the same every promotion I go to, just to expand my wrestling experience and to meet more people. Because the more people you meet, the more you become a better wrestler. Because the more wrestlers you face, you realize, dang, there's so many different styles and different ways to work someone, and different body parts to work. Because I noticed I haven't worked too many large people, but when I work them, it's a different mindset to go to. That way, I can bring them down or to try to beat them. Because taller people, obviously, for me being 5'7", isn't the easiest, but it's possible, of course. And then sometimes I go into my bag of tricks and do things I haven't done in a long time or never have done, and that's always fun.
All right. And I trying to do I have anything else. You kind of hit on all the on all of them, truthfully. So, with that, do you have any social media?
I do have social media. The main one I use is Instagram at Tone Felix, one word, and there's two X's instead of one X because someone took the first one somehow. And Facebook, same thing, Tone Felix, one X on that one. And those are two I use. I don't really use Twitter that much. Not much of a Twitter person, to be honest with you. I think it's too much BS on Twitter.
Same. I agree. So with that, my social medias. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, follow us on Twitter at UrbanPW. Same thing with Facebook page, UrbanPW, Instagram, Urban Pro Wrestling. We have a website. It's your all access stop to anything UPW. We update it weekly, www.urbanpw.com. And I'll tell the folks, you've made it this far into the interview. It's still here on YouTube. Hit that like button, hit that sub button. And folks, we look forward to seeing you June 26th, the YST Cultural and Educational Center, 1000 Vine Street, Daytona Beach, Florida. Let's see you guys there. Tickets will be out very soon. Thank you again, everyone. You have a great one. And as always, stay off the hook.